Now, The Catalyst with Christopher Dent.
This is The Catalyst, and I am Christopher Dent. The Catalyst is a podcast which highlights forward-thinking, community-minded people and organisations. Please like and follow us on Facebook at The Catalyst. If you'd like to share any feedback or if anyone you think we should be interviewing, please email us on thecatalyst@outlook.com.au. Today on the show we have a Victorian life-saving team member, a Victorian Netball League Under-19 player, been a Netball Club dual premiership player, 2019 Southern Football Netball League competition best and fairest winner, Olivia May. Thank you for joining us, Olivia.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. We go a little way back. I've been lucky enough to have coached Olivia for, I think we've 6 seasons so far, and it's been enjoyable. I've known Olivia a little bit longer than that, but coaching against it. But with your life-saving, what's your current role at the moment with Life-Saving Victoria?
So I'm currently hired by Life-Saving Victoria as an open water learning education instructor, and I've been working there for the past 2 seasons. So pretty much my role is working on the beach pretty much every day with a different primary school or secondary school and educating them in school programs about like water safety and how to stay safe around water, which is a pretty rewarding job. And then on the other side of that, I'm also competing as just a surf sport competitor for Life-Saving Victoria as well during the summer months.
Fantastic. And with your role with that, with Life-Saving and with the training, I hear you've been was it the paddleboard of late?
Yeah,
and you had a little bit of an accident the other day on your paddleboard. Can you go through what happened there?
Yes, so I was a bit bored in isolation and thought I'd get back out in the water this winter, and thought it'd be fun to start paddleboarding standing up on my feet. So I jumped on the board and slipped off, unfortunately, and fell flat first onto the fin and broke my arm. So now I am bed rest in isolation, which is not what we wanted.
Oh no! Oh well, no. So so I'm assuming you've still got to wait till summer to really kick in. And with the games of netball, which we don't even know when we're playing yet, or if we can play, so that's going to be a little bit of a hold up for that. How many weeks do you have the plaster on, or whatever you have on your arm?
Only 4 to 6 weeks, so I'm about a week in already. So hopefully it'll all be off by the time netball starts again.
This is good. Yeah. This is good. So you can still run though.
Yes, I can still run.
Okay, at home, there's mum and dad, Steve and Susie, and you got younger brother Jack. You were born in 2001 in Moorabbin,
Yes.
where you were growing up. Which schools did you attend?
So I attended Southmore Primary School in Moorabbin, which is a pretty small primary school. I think there was only about 300 students when I was there. And then after that, I went to Olsh College in Bentley, which is an all-girls Catholic school. And, went all the way through my school there.
Fantastic. Living so close to Moorabbin football ground, you must be a Saints supporter.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So, did you see a lot of games there at Moorabbin?
Not really. I think when I was quite young, they did a lot more at Moorabbin, and then as I grew up, that's when they decided to move to Seaford.
Yep.
So I missed out on a bit of footy then, but thankfully they've just recently moved back, so we got to see a few of the community series games just before the season started and before the coronavirus happened
Yep.
and took out the season. So I got to see a little bit there, but they're still training there at the moment, so whenever I've gone on a walk, I've been able to walk past them some mornings as they've kicked back into training this season, but yeah.
Fantastic. I'm a Saints man as well, as you know. So what's at school? What's other sports did you participate in?
So at secondary school, I was kind of known for being the person that tried to do as much sport as possible so I could get out of as many days of school. So I'll try and name all of them. I did swimming, diving, athletics, gymnastics, cricket, badminton, footy, soccer, netball, volleyball, cross country. I think that's all I can name, but pretty much everything.
I think that was the my what I tried to do at secondary school as well. As much sport as you can do to miss the classes.
Exactly.
In the early days in competitive sport, what can you remember in those first days of netball, going down the courts when you were really young, your first season?
I remember starting netball as not the most talented player. I was the little scrawny, skinny girl who was not, obviously not very talented. And I started in Net Set Go, so I was quite young. And I just played netball for Murrumbina on Saturdays, and I remember getting kind of thrown around a lot on the court. And I was very passionate about the sport. I remember trying out for the Year 7 Ulsh netball team, and I was so determined to make the team. I was so excited. There was about 120 other girls trialling in Year 7 and 8, and I thought I had a chance of maybe making it in the C team, but then my heart was broken that day when I got an email saying that I didn't make any team and I had to take that year off netball. So that was a bit devastating, but that kind of shaped me into who I am today and motivated me to keep trying no matter what pushes me back.
No, absolutely. Those things fuel you. Absolutely. Your surf lifesaving has become a really big part of your life growing up. What are the most memorable moments with that sport and with your family in that sport?
I think my most memorable moment would definitely be the state championships in under 12. So I think that was in 2013 in Lawn. And I was a part of a relay team. We didn't really have a big name or anything. We just sort of did lifesaving for fun. And we thought we'd rock up to states that season. And so we were doing the beach relay, which is a 4x70 metre sprint relay on sand. And we thought we'd give that a go at states. And somehow, I'm not sure how it happened, we ended up taking out the gold medal. So that was probably like the start of my life-saving journey, like taking it seriously. And obviously we decided to start training more because we realised that we did have quite a lot of potential. And then from then on, we're still a relay team that keeps going today. And we've like made so many gold medals, and we've gone to nationals and states, and yeah.
Oh, fantastic. What actually drew you to the beach early days?
So I came from a family with my dad, who is quite a good sprinter, and he used to be a professional sprinter growing up. So obviously raising me, they thought that I might have a bit of speed as well. So they gave me the choice to either do athletics or maybe do surf lifesaving, because Dad was often beaten by people that were beach sprinters. So I'm not sure why, but I decided to do surf lifesaving. And then from there, we went down South Road, and to the left was Hampton and to the right was Brighton. And we first went to Brighton, and they had a waiting list. So then we went the other way to Hampton, and I pretty much stayed there ever since I was about 5 years old.
Oh, fantastic. We're talking to local sports star Olivia May. In the early years, you have mentioned that you played down at Caulfield District Netball Association with Murrumbina, and also you did play at you played at Kingston District as well. How did you find that competition at Kingston in the early days? I think you were with who'd you play for with that? That was
the Chelsea Chargers.
That's it. Yes. And how'd you find that competition as opposed to Caulfield?
I definitely found Kingston a big jump in my netball. Obviously, I'm pretty sure at Kingston I was playing Division 1, and then at Caulfield I came from playing maybe Division 3 or 4. So the standard was definitely like a lot better at Kingston, and I think it was also really good for my netball because obviously playing at a higher standard really pushes you to play also at a higher standard. So, yeah, it definitely was a big jump, but I think it was really good for my netball.
No, absolutely. I remember the days when we used to play against you, and you were always a hard matchup to play against, but I think we had some good battles when you were in the opposition team. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yes.
And then fortunately you come across to us. But in all the sports you've played, you've had many coaches over the journey. How have they shaped you as a player and person?
I've definitely had a lot of coaches, even in lifesaving and in netball. I know in my Murrumbina first team, I had pretty much a different coach every year. So it was really good to move over to your side, Chris, and have you for like 6 or so consecutive seasons. And I think when you have a coach like for a long time, it does really help your netball, and you're receiving like different feedback all the time. And I think that did really help me as a player. And then also with my higher standard netball, I've also had like moving to different clubs every year. I've also had a different coach every single season, which can be a bit hard to adapt to because obviously each coach is different. But I think the variety has also been good because I've received a lot of different feedback and different perspectives on how I can improve my game.
Has anything really stuck with you from your coaches in a philosophy point of view, or just in life skills from your surf lifesaving coaches or your netball coaches? Anything sort of stick with you?
I think probably just I think one of the things from some of my coaches that I've received that's really stuck with me is just the fact that obviously with netball, it is a team sport, so you can't be like the best player on the court. You need to be the best teammate. That's something that's really stuck with me. But yeah.
Yep, absolutely. With the mentors, do you have mentors in your life? Do you look up to and you sort of source information from them still?
Yeah, so my first athletics coach that I approached when I decided to start athletics up again, her name's Priscilla from Sandringham Athletics Club, and obviously I don't still train with her unfortunately, but because it just doesn't fit in my schedule. But I have like really become good friends with her, and I do always update her with my life and ask her for any advice when I need it. And I've now become her babysitter for her children, which is quite exciting. But yeah, she's probably the main person that's really stuck in my life, even though I'm not training with her individually. But yeah.
Fantastic. You progressed through the ranks in your domestic and representative teams in netball. Can you share some of those experiences, just moving through the ranks?
So obviously, as I said before, I started at Murrumbina at the Caulfield Netball Court. And then I remember I trialled for the Caulfield rep team for 3 years, never made it. And then obviously kept trying every year. And on my third shot, I made it in the under-13 team, in the green team, I'm pretty sure. Yep. And then I played at Caulfield for around 3 years, and then decided to make the move to Eastern United, which is based in like the eastern suburbs, which was a bit of a trek getting to training when I was in under 15s, which took about an hour to get to training. And then I played 1 season there, and then I was lucky enough to make like a VNL development side, which kind of was another rep-based competition at Waverley midweek. And at the same time as playing at Southern Saints development, I played at Bayside rep.
Yep.
And then Bayside was the last year of rep that I played, which was in 2018.
Okay. How hard was the progression and the challenges between the different levels of the game?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty big. I remember under 13 rep was quite similar to playing domestic, just like obviously everyone is still small and everyone's still developing, but jumping up to under 17's rep was massive, and all the girls were so tall. And I remember I used to be a little goalkeeper in under 13s, and as soon as I moved up to under 17s, I was pushed straight into the centre because I was just so much smaller than all my opposition. So that was pretty much the biggest step in my rep journey.
Fantastic. Okay, everyone, stay tuned. We'll be back after the break with our segment, The Top 3. Welcome back. We are talking to local sports star Olivia May. Olivia, we have our top 3, so I'm going to ask you your top 3 go-to movies. Number 3.
Oh, probably Soul Surfer.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. Yep, absolutely. Number 2.
This one's a funny one. Scooby-Doo.
I wouldn't have picked that. And Olivia May's number 1 top go-to movie is?
Point Break.
Oh, yeah. I thought it'd be a bit of water in those movies at the middle one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, I assume with the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, what's been the most frustrating and hardest thing that you've had to overcome?
Definitely for me, I don't like doing like training by myself, and obviously not being able to train with people for most of the lockdown process, I was doing a lot of my athletic sessions alone, which I did find pretty unmotivating, having to push myself to like my limits running by myself. And also doing Zoom netball training by myself was pretty boring, but hopefully that is all over soon.
Yeah. Away from the sporting field, what jobs have you had?
So what was that?
What jobs have you had away from the sporting field?
Jobs.
Yeah.
So working at Life Saving Victoria was probably my number one.
Yep.
I also work in retail at Best and West.
Yep. They've been there. Yes, that must be fun.
My first job was working at Osmosis at the surf shop, which was pretty cool. And then I also do some coaching jobs at some secondary schools. So I work at Ulsh College and Mentone Girls Grammar, coaching netball and sort of any other sport that I can get my hands on. But that's about it.
You still umpiring, or have you moved away from that?
No, I only did about one season of umpiring. I didn't like the Saturday morning early wake up.
It is a bit tough that day, especially in the middle months of the year when it's a little bit cold.
I didn't like the rain.
Absolutely. Well, we're talking to local sports star Olivia May. At the start of 2018 season, you were a member of the Maribyrnong Football Netball Club netball program in the Southern Football Netball League. Take us through that first season. That was a lot of our myself as well included, and our team moving across there from Kingston, which we were a part of, and it was a different sort of netball competition. Can you go through that first season with us?
Yeah, so our first season, I remember we got dumped in Division 5, which I thought would be a lot easier than it was. Obviously, we did do quite well winning most of our games, actually all of our games. But I think the hardest thing was I didn't expect obviously it was open age and we've been playing under 17. I didn't expect such physicality and getting bashed around so much by the older ladies.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest thing, and it was quite fun, but also it was quite terrifying at the same time.
Yes, and then we moved up. I think we played about 4 games or 5 games, and then we got pushed up to Division 4. And take us through that. From we did go undefeated, but through the season and how you found that and the finals campaign.
Yeah, so that was an interesting season. I know that we definitely did win all of our games, but then when we got to the grand final, it was a very close game against Heatherton. And I remember the nerves of that grand final really got to me because obviously it was our first one away from being in an age group and being at Kingston where we'd won so many, and then coming to Southern Football Netball League where we had a massive crowd and all the older girls. And I remember Heatherton had a massive cheer squad because they are such a big club, and I think all the noise and all the nerves really got to me in that game. Was probably one of the hardest ones I've ever played.
No, it was you're exactly right. I think it was a very intimidating day. It felt like a cauldron with all the people circling the court, and it was like a football crowd mentality, which is a bit different to our normal etiquette in netball, which we're not used to. But we were fantastic. I think it was a fantastic season. That was the first premiership that Maribyrnong Football Netball Club had won in the netball, so it was really good to be part of that history. And you had a really good season. I thought that season, a really good base season. I think, like you said, we learned a lot. We're toughing it out with a lot more physicality in the game. But 2019 was successful as well. We're going for back-to-back, and especially for you on the individual level. You had a premiership, best on court in the grand final, a club and a competition best and fairest at the Southern Football Netball League. You represented the under-19s in the Southern Football Netball League. They won their game against another league, and you got best on court in that. Also, you played in the Victorian Netball League under-19s and represented Henderson in the Victorian Zone Championships as well. So you had a fantastic 2019. Just walk through that with us.
Yeah, so that was a good season last year. I think growing up, I was quite torn between netball or surf lifesaving. So obviously I found it hard to focus on one of the sports. And if you're playing both at the same time, it is hard to do well in just one because you're sort of splitting your time in half.
Yep.
So last year I decided to take a little bit of a break from my lifesaving, still do it, but obviously just for fun and not train as competitively. So I kind of put all my focus on netball, and that was the year that I got selected to play for the Hawks VNL side.
Yep.
So I debuted, I think, the Hawks around the same time as I got selected for the interleague team, which was really good for my netball, and it was definitely like the hardest game I've played, playing my first game of VNL, because it is just so intense and there's no time to rest. It's just always putting like everything you've got out there, and especially as a centre player, like there is obviously no time to rest because you're obviously like running up and down the court for a whole hour. So I think that was probably what really influenced my netball and really improved me, and just training non-stop. And also I found in previous years I was playing in so many teams at once, and it was so draining, and I was getting so many injuries. So I sort of decided to cut it back, focus mainly on the VNL and my Southern Football Netball League instead of playing in all these rep teams and development teams and all that. And I think that is what really paid off my netball, but it was definitely a very successful season. It's a shame that we don't get to do it all again this year.
Yes, it is a shame, but these things happen. But I remember last season when you did commit to, and the season before, I think your improvement was outstanding. You were a fantastic netballer with your skill level. I think you learnt a lot and just got stronger. And last season, with the girls going back-to-back premiers, and with your lift in the team, as in your improvement and your leadership, you just it showed out by all the individual awards you received during the year. So that was a testament to your effort you put in. And I think, especially with the Southern Football League, it's fun to play that because you're with your friends, but also your improvement came, I reckon, from playing against the best Victorian netballers at your age level. In the VNL. So there was one other thing you also did. We haven't spoken about this yet. You actually have run a couple of professional sprint races. Can you walk us through those?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Dad was a professional sprinter growing up, and he's always been on my back saying, you need to get into this professional sprinting, and I never wanted to do it, and then eventually I was convinced. So last year I decided to sign up myself for the Victorian Athletics League, which is like professional sprinting, and it is affiliated with the Stall Gift, if you've heard of that before.
Yeah.
So I started off at debuting at the Rye Gift, which was the start of 2019, which was very confronting, running against like girls that run at the Commonwealth Games and all that. And then the next day I ran at the Frankston Gift. So I think at the Frankston Gift, that was my first under 18 final, and came away with a solid $10 in winnings.
Fantastic. Professional, it is professional.
And then after that, I ran at the Geelong Gift in late February, which was the day before my 18th birthday. So it was my last day in under 18.
Yep.
And I remember winning my heat quite easily that day. And Dad was like, no, you've got it. You've got the win. And then I just got pipped on the line and came away with the second in the final that day. So I think I came away with about $100, which paid for petrol on the way home, which was pretty good.
No, fantastic.
And then this year my first one was Waverley Gift at the end of November, and I ran my first race in an open age, which is against boys and girls. So I remember being the only girl in my race, which was the most terrifying thing ever, having all these grown men running behind me and chasing me down.
Yep.
And then after that, I ran a twilight one in Frankston again, which was sort of successful, nothing too special. And then my next one was supposed to be at Stall Gift over the Easter weekend, which obviously got cancelled.
Yes.
But I was really looking forward to that, and hopefully it does get postponed to the end of the year.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. We are talking to local sports star Olivia May. Now we've got 5 questions, 1 word. I'll ask you 5 questions and you'll give me a 1-word answer. You ready for these, Olivia?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. Your favourite TV show?
Outer Banks.
Okay. Netball for you in 1 word?
Oh, intense.
At your level, absolutely. What's your favourite food?
Fruit.
Oh, golly. And what's the worst household chore?
Oh, picking up dog poo.
Oh, yes. And the last one, number 5, what irritates you the most?
Slow walkers.
I hate them as well. I hate them. Okay. So where are some of the places that you've travelled to with your sports?
So most of my travelling has come from surf lifesaving because it is unable to do at state and national level. So in Victoria, I think I've competed at pretty much every beach in the state.
Yep.
Because there are about 10 competitions in the season before states and nationals. So every weekend somewhere different, from Peninsula Way all the way down to Warrnambool.
Yep.
And then states, we've been pretty much Warrnambool, Lawn, Port Fairy, Ocean Grove, all like that. And then nationals, I've been to the Sunshine Coast, the Gold Coast and Perth.
Mm-hmm.
And then for netball, the only really travelling I've done is for the state titles, where I've competed in Werribee, Shepparton, and I think that's about it. So, yeah, netball's been pretty local, but surf lifesaving's really been able to take me places, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And how with your netball, just going back into your netball, how far would you like to take your netball?
I often think about that, and I'm not really too sure. I think I just want to keep playing until I'm literally unable to, and I'm too old.
Yep.
But I probably want to, I'm aiming for hopefully VNL championship when I am a bit older.
Yes.
And then I guess I'll see where that takes me. But it is such a long journey to get all the way to the top, and I have been playing for so long. And I've gone through such a long journey and so many setbacks already, so I don't really see any reason why I should stop here.
Yes.
So obviously I just keep going as far as I can, but I'm not really too sure at the moment where I want to go.
Absolutely. So in the next where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And your goals, you probably just spoke about your goals for the future, but in the next 5 years, so building yourself up to aim for that championship?
I think I want to be able to find a club where I can settle myself down, because I have played 3 years of VNL and I've been at 3 clubs, which is not really ideal. I want to be able to find that one club that really suits me. Yep. And hopefully I'll be able to stay there and work my way up. I know next year I will be out of under 19, so I'll be aiming for a Division 1 side. Yep. And that is sort of the pathway to playing championships. So hopefully I do get an offer from a club. If it's my own or another one, I don't really mind. And then hopefully I'm able to work my way up to playing championship, and then I guess I'll just see what happens after that.
Okay, yes, absolutely. So I just want to say thank you so much. Like I said, I've been lucky enough to have Olivia play in my teams. I think we've the first season she came and played for us, we won a premiership, and since that, every season we've played, we've coached her for 6 seasons, and we've won 6 premierships, and it's not by fluke. I think it's hard work by the girls and the team that we've got. But she's a delight to coach and fantastic today. Thank you so much for your time. And I'd like to say thank you to our guest, superstar all-round sportswoman, Olivia May. Thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you for having me. It's been a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This is The Catalyst, and I am Christopher Dent. The Catalyst is a podcast which highlights forward-thinking, community-minded people and organisations. Please follow us and like us on Facebook at The Catalyst. If you would like to share some feedback, or you think you have someone that you'd like us to interview, please let us know. Drop us a line on the email at thecatalyst@outlook.com.au. See you next time.